The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 12th day of February, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman, the professional, what I'm going to call myself, throw under the bus Olympian? Okay, throw under the bus.
You are the bus driver. You are the bus driver.
Yeah.
The professional bus driver.
And then Carla is the bus throwee. That's what we're going to say. Bus throwee, person that like.
Yeah, who he threw under the bus. But it's all right, Jackie. I'm so happy to see you today, Jackie. Happy Friday. You ready to kill it? You ready to kill it later?
Well, hold on. I didn't give Jackie her nickname. And
I got a nickname?
And Jackie, the good one who doesn't get into domestic disputes, Lambert, right?
I don't.
Yeah, she don't do domestics. When Carla and I are having our issues, oh no, I don't do domestics. But we appreciate you for offering your insight into our domestic issues, Jackie, by staying clear.
You guys seem to work it out really well. Like I think it's like a sibling thing, because I have siblings and I don't like people jumping in on my siblings' argument with my sisters, because right now I'm arguing with you, but next thing you know, I'm like, cheers.
Not even that. We'll be arguing. You'll jump in, and then I'll be jumping on you. Saying, "Don't talk to Jamal like that."
Exactly. What am I going to say? But I'm going to end up any person you're gang up on.
I've seen those kind of fights. That's why I try to stay clear. So I think I'll take Jacka's advice the next time I see a domestic. I mean, mind you, I'll just sit back and enjoy it and watch it and say, "Yeah, man, you won." Then go to the other sibling. Nah, you really won. I was just what. But that's all good. Anyway, thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on Twitter, you know what to do. Just retweet it. On TV, call somebody, let them know the Daily Hour's on. Get the conversation out to your network, and don't forget to like and engage with us. A good one to close out the week, as Sloane Johnson is stopping by to discuss the Digital Leadership Conference. If you've been watching, we've had a lot of the speakers on. And I'll share a bit about what my presentation is going to be about as well at the Digital Leaders Conference. Today, we're going to do the feud. So I have to preface it by saying this. It's PG. It's PG.
So the answer
Jamal doesn't know how to act. Jamal doesn't know how to act. And Carla just Carla.
I just go with the flow. They say as you get older, since it's always making old people's jokes, right? When you get older, it just releases. You don't even process. It's like sausage.
Your filter's broken.
Why do you all? How am I? All I do is read the question.
He does it on purpose, Jackie. It's like, what can activate him this Friday? I'll ask this troublesome question. Mm-hmm.
No,
it gives us 3 seconds. Like, first of all, we gotta filter out all the wrong answers, and then the wrong answers.
Hold on, no. As soon as I ask the question, Carla's like, blue. I ain't asked like anything here, but she says blue. Then y'all like blue, green, pink, yellow, blue, like.
Well, one of the answers have to be right, and sometimes I forget the rules. Oh, you gotta make them up as you go.
Jackie forgets the rules, folks. That's what we're gonna give her. But look, let's talk about this week. This week we've had some interesting guests just talking about technology and social media and the like. And something I saw, I don't know. I have social media, but you'd think I don't for some reason. But Carla and Jackie, as I mentioned, they kind of told me about this Gorilla Glue person, right? And something that's really, I guess, because we've had people on talking about technology and social media, is, do you guys fear that younger people will start to like just do anything for clout or for like to get a following? Because I I honestly did not know what the Gorilla Glue thing was until like we were in our chat group and they sent me a video and or was it a picture of a girl? She put glue to keep her hair. It was to keep her hair down, right?
Right,
ran
but
out of
she
hair
used,
glue.
but it was industrial adhesive basically that she used.
Like that good stuff. Like you could hold a truck from a crane with this glue, and she put it on her scalp to
Well,
keep her hair.
call us a bumper to a car, right? And do you guys fear that young people will look at this stuff and saying, wow, I can really get a following and make a living on social media if I do something stupid, as people have been saying this was?
Well, she, as you know, well, as most people know, she had the glue removed yesterday, right? And the doctor described what he put in it, blah, blah, blah. And what came to my mind first was, I wonder how many people now will try craziness because it seems like it's an easy fix. So I am concerned that there will be replicated efforts to try to get, because she got a blue tick on her social media. Of course, it's up to $20,000. And then I don't know if you guys saw the one where the girl claimed she left perm on her nether area and it burnt her. It's like, come on, really? Just for likes and shares? It's stupid.
And the fake crying in that video of the girl that put the perm on her lower region, it's bothersome. Like, why? You really lack that much attention that you're gonna go through this to make yourself famous? You're literally making yourself look stupid.
But I guess my question, and I hear both of you, how did this become norm though? How did this become a thing where people were like, you know what, I'm gonna wake up this morning and I'm gonna do something that's gonna get me social media attention, and therefore I'm gonna get a blue tick? And do the social media companies play a role by actually rewarding these people with these blue ticks?
Verified, yeah, they do in that context, right? But I just think there are so many layers to Gorilla Glue Girl, because to me, as a woman with kinky hair, like, you wanted to have straight hair that bad that you felt you had to slick it down and you couldn't find the product to work for you. So to me, that's the layer that I look at, and that so many people are looking at it. But remember, this is the generation. Although we giggle about age, the generations, it just keeps getting more and more. Well, it varies every time. So this is what works for these young people.
And I want to go back to I want to, Sloane had put it just now. They do it all the time. Remember the Tide Pod Challenge, and I do remember something like that happening. Was that a step into how it's getting worse? And again, like, we've been talking about this social media all week and internet safety and using it for good and so on. And here we are talking about, and this is not a young person that done this. This woman, as I read somewhere, she's 40
with 5 children. But then here's the other part that irritated me. I watched her live on TMZ yesterday when she came out of the semi anesthesia, whatever. And they said she was rubbing her head, right? And they said, what are you going to do? The first thing you're going to do, you go home. What do you think she said? She said, I'm going to get my hair done. First, she said, if I knew it was like this, and I'm paraphrasing, I wouldn't have cut my ponytail off. And then she said, I'm going to get my hair done. And I'm like, what? I would have been like, get me a wig. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to wear an afro just to give my hair a break. She said, Valentine's Day is coming. I need to get my hair done. She weren't serious. I just think she did it for likes, because who knows not to do that? Who doesn't know not to do that?
But who's gonna take her on a date? Like, how can you take somebody that simple on a date? So where you going, sis?
But people feel sorry for her. Essence did an article on, having empathy for her. It's like, come on, let's use some common sense. You're not gonna tell me that everyone knows at the very least that Gorilla Glue is not a hair product. And then she said, oh, the label said not skin and not some clothes. It didn't say about hair. Really?
Well, I want to go to the audience because Sean Smith makes a great point. remember the TV show Jackass? Those guys made a lot of money doing stupid stuff,
Yes.
and then Dijon even follows it up. It's always been around. Social media just pretty much expedited the response to it. Like, I mean, we dive off rocks, Nerve, right, in Bermuda. Show off our trickiest for boys and girls. Also, we do a huge ramp jumps on bikes. Social just gave everyone their own stage. And I do appreciate that, because it's not like the social media is here and all of a sudden people became crazy, stupid. And let me, before I even respond to that, Shamari Tolbert says, the question is, not doing should doing something stupid make you famous. Instead, it should doing something dangerous and stupid make you famous. The answer is it's entertaining, so it'll always get views. And I think Carla mentioned views just now. And part of my presentation at the Digital Leadership Conference is to focus on quality content rather than views and likes. It's quality content will probably get you a living much longer and more securely than views and likes. I know people, we've been brainwashed into thinking that everything's about the amount of views, the amount of likes. But if you can deliver quality content on a regular basis, you have a better chance of pretty much making people want to align with you. Not necessarily consumers, but businesses and so on. But to Dijon's point, I think it can't be overstated enough. Social media is not to blame for people's behavior. I want to put it there. It's not to blame for people's behavior. Like when I come on this show daily basis, it's not the platform's fault for what I say, nor should they take credit for what I say if it's good. It's just a platform in where I'm able to express and engage with all of you. But I will say that the people who are responsible for this kind of stuff, it's the people that are doing it. But when we eat it up, are we any better? Because I've told you guys before, when it comes to social media, I personally follow accounts that I'm going to learn from, that I'm going to grow from. So I wouldn't see anybody called, what's her name, Gorilla Glue Girl on my stuff. So that's why I legit have to ask. So again, if we're following certain kind of stuff, I mean, mind you, I did start following TMZ. And I'll tell you when I started following TMZ. I started following TMZ on Twitter, I believe around the death of Kobe Bryant, because I had always thought it was fake news, it was gossip, whatever, and they were the first ones to report it. I'm not saying TMZ is not all of those things, but that was the first time that they came across as credible. It was messy, it was nasty, but that's when I started following it for a news source, more or less, at that point. But it comes down to all of us. Like, I mean, we have to decide what kind of information we want to take in, because that kind of information kind of can decide and dictate our mindsets.
Yeah, but we also have to understand that it infiltrates as well, because her story, for example, even made CNN and national news. Like, I always watch CNN, right, every day. So I follow TMZ. It comes on TV. I don't actively go and look, but it's there. So I just think it's shameful, honestly. At 40 years old with 5 children, and maybe I'm being judgmental, but I just think, girlfriend, do better. Do better.
She's a star. She's a star.
For this month. It's not going to last.
Well, we have commercialized the younger generation and say, here you go, immature, 40 and still a search mood. But it's okay. Got you, Dr. Seaman. Renee Charlene Simmons, Carla.
It was supposed to be an accident. She said she was rushing. This wasn't a young girl. She's a woman with children. The plastic surgeon was Dr. Michael Obang, that figured out the chemistry, that put the chemistry together to get it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his clout's going up a bit.
Smart.
Says we also have a hit show called Ridiculousness. I've never heard of that.
It's pathetic. I don't watch it, but I've seen it it comes on MTV, or it used to, or maybe it's in repeats. But people are legit doing stupid, ridiculous things. I don't know. I facepalm. I'm just like, really? I have to turn it off. I just think it's retarded. And the girls laughed. She irritates me.
I'll have to find a clip of it. Elizabeth says, all I know is she's about to bank off her simple self. I see sponsorship, brand deals with that huge platform she has now. And if she, look, at the end of the day, if she can bank off it, more power to her. when I say quality content, if you're delivering quality content, how many times can she put glue in her hair, right? Like, is this a one-off where people, she'll be soon forgotten? Name us someone else who done something for clout like this, and then where are they now? Yeah, you get that blue tick, but can you consistently deliver that? If you got a big payday, something like you're making $30,000 a year, and you get like $500,000 just off of this, make sure you take care of your money. Make sure you're surrounded with good people that ain't gonna take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
Something's got to give for you. But interesting times.
But the kicker is that she's contemplating, because I don't know if it's official yet, suing Gorilla Glue. Really?
Well, Carla,
It's America.
is she in the United States of America?
Keep going.
They
now.
sue if you look at them wrong. So I mean, I'm not surprised.
I mean, I'll never forget the case that stood out for me in the United States of America was the lady who spilled coffee on herself.
They were talking about that yesterday. McDonald's.
And she's sued, right? And because they didn't have a caution thing on the cop, from what I remember, she won the case. So when it comes to suing, I mean, I won't put it past her winning a case. If she gets a good lawyer, this is the United States of America. Yeah.
She'd be good for a Hooked on Phonics type of commercial endorsement like that. Like something. No, seriously, I can't see someone endorsing her unless it's a helping thing. Like, where's the counseling? Let's help stick your relationship together.
Your relationship need Gorilla Glue is over. Actually, she said that's not true about her suing Gorilla Glue. Well, that's good.
That's good.
That is definitely good. I guess I'm gonna have to. What's her name again? What's this lady's name?
Something Brown. Tricka. Is a. What is it?
It's
a T word. Dijon is Elias Patel. Tricka. Takara.
I want to go check her account out, see if there's anything that I can learn from her her page or anything. Terry, Jackie.
There is. People are following her updates. They aren't likely to buy from her unless she is talking about learning from her mistake.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, sponsorships is usually, especially affiliate marketing, is, well, what are we going to get out of this? And it's about aligning their brands with certain people. Are people going to want to align their brands with it? Is this pronounced
Tessica?
Tessica. Yeah, Tessica. So
DJ got stuck.
Mom was probably named Jessica. Father named Terry, and they just came out with Tessica or something like that. All right, so we've got to take a quick break. We got Sloane Johnson coming up with the conversation. We're going to have a discussion about the Digital Leadership Conference. But before we go there, I did want to address a few things. So yesterday, it wasn't on the online version, but the Royal Gazette had the Bermuda history thing. When I did agree to do this, it was definitely said to have been Black history. And so seeing Bermuda history was a bit of a disappointment because, Bermuda history and Black history is not one and the same when we're talking about experiences in Bermuda. That said, thank you to VJ for highlighting Bermudians Against the Draft and our role in changing Bermuda's history. As I've stated time and time again, I don't look at anything we done as heroic. It simply was the right thing to do. But I must give props to Tarai Trott. Tarai has nothing to do with this story yesterday, but over 10 years ago, Tarai Trott had a site called Bermuda Wyatt. And Tarai was actually the first and only person back then in media that really, really pushed for, he called Bermudians Against the Draft heroes, like before their time and so on. And he was always like, and if you know Tarai, he's a big fan of the UK and Britain and all things Queen Elizabeth, right? That's who he is. But Tarai always saw the value in what we were fighting for. And so this pretty much is what VJ did. Is kind of saying what Tarai was doing many years ago. So I appreciate him putting this on the front line back then when it wasn't popular and getting eaten up by Black Bermudians. And I just want to repeat this. This is going to be a never-ending thing. My greatest disappointments to this day are Black Bermudians. It's not white Bermudians. It was white governments that put conscription in place. And what Black Bermudians failed to realize about the whole idea of conscription is you were made to believe that you needed to send your Black sons to an institution for discipline. In the words of Larry Marshall Sr., if you need to send your grown sons, 18 years old, to a government institution to be disciplined, then you have failed as a parent. I repeat, if you need to send your 18-year-old children to a government institution in the name of discipline, then you have failed miserably as a parent. So if anyone wants to go and volunteer and so-called give back to their country via the Bermuda Regiment, more power to you. But forced labor was wrong during slave days, and it was wrong in the year 2000. And the fact that we've been indoctrinated to believe in so many things, people ask me, why do I challenge the church so much? Because the church remains silent on this very issue. The fight to end conscription exposed so many things. Sexual assault. You thought that would have made noise. And I said to Larry Marshall Sr., I said, there's an all-girls institution in Bermuda. If ever there were a sexual assault case, I guarantee you this country would be up in arms. Within 3 months of me saying that, what happened? And it's so sad, so done. And what I said to Larry Marshall Sr. at that time was that when people have so little respect for Black males, they show it in every way possible. And because Black Bermudians think so little of Black males, even to this day, so little, conscription will always be a part of what they believe should be maintained to keep Black men in line. Not to protect Frizzle's Hill, not to protect Engle Street, not to protect Palmetto Road, but to protect Front Street. Mm-hmm. That's what giving back to your country is to them. And so I have a question for the likes of Brian Gonzalez, a former CEO, William White, another white gentleman from the Bermuda Regiment. And my question is very simple. And I asked Larry Marshall Sr. this last night. If I had one question, I would ask these white gentlemen this. Why are you fighting, or did you fight so hard to keep a law in place that you knew disproportionately impacted Black males? Why? And that's a question I'd really like Black Bermudians to think about. Why were these white men so focused on keeping this outdated, archaic law in place? I repeat, there's nothing heroic about what we've done. Yes, we exposed the sexual assault. We exposed the hypocrisy of an entire country. We exposed the corruption. But yet, Black Bermudians still collectively don't get what was wrong with conscription. This is not about Larry Marshall and the Marshall family. It's not even about Jamel Hartman. It's legit about the progress and the rights of Bermuda. And I'll leave you with this here. I have a Colombian colleague. And I said to her, one of the things about this case that really bothers me most is not just the lack of support from the Black community, but it was one of the actual arguments that we had in court. And when people talk about systemic change and why I'm not a big fan of diversity and companies making all these changes, because that's not systemic. Black faces do not bring systemic change. When we went to court, if you understood the arguments we had and what they ruled against us on, I'll give you one. And there were many, but this one always stood out to me. We said that conscription was discriminatory because it only really impacted men. We were the only ones conscripted. Well, folks, their lawyer, the government QC, yes, they had a QC. Their QC said, well, it is discriminatory, but it's discriminatory against women. because they're not able to be conscripted. Think about that. They railroaded us. There's a legal bill over $250,000 that's still being paid on today. Why? Because Black Bermudians thought that we had a Black government and we should not go against a Black government. And this was discipline for our young boys because of the disdain that so many Bermudians, Black Bermudians especially, have for Black males. On that note, I'll turn it over to you, Carla, for the news. And if I need to address that again, I'll be happy to. I will be happy to.
I feel the news can't compete. An automated process to schedule COVID-19 vaccinations resulted in appointments for some people who were not in a target group, a government spokeswoman has said. She admitted that others missed out despite being among those for whom bookings were intended. The spokeswoman said, "We are aware of some individuals in the community receiving their vaccinations, seemingly not in the order of the ministry's vaccine allocation strategy. While out of the thousands of vaccinations administered, this is a very small number of people. It is unfortunate." Turning to court news, a 24-year-old Devonshire man was remanded in custody after he admitted repeatedly sexually exploiting a 12-year-old girl. Chandra Gilbert pleaded guilty in magistrate's court to 3 counts of touching the preteen for a sexual purpose while in a position of trust. All of the incidents took place between August 5th, 2015 and July 10th, 2016, at which time Gilbert was 19. The court heard that the victim, who cannot be identified for legal reasons, was asleep in her family living room when she was awakened by Gilbert touching her. She told him to stop, and he did so, but repeated the behavior on subsequent nights, with his contact gradually escalating over a period of time. The victim did not tell anyone about Gilbert's actions until last year when her parents took the case to court. The story was courtesy of the Royal Gazette. Turning to UK news, English football bosses have called on social media platforms to play their part in cracking down on racism in the sport. In an open letter issued to Facebook creator Mark Zuckerberg and Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey on behalf of the Premier League, EFL, and EFA, football has seen a surge in racism in recent weeks, with West Brom's Romaine Sawyers, Chelsea's Reece James, and Manchester United players Axel Tozebi and Anthony Martial amongst players who have been targeted. Football bosses say the social media giants are not doing enough to crack down on abuse and believe the platforms are a haven for it. Today is No One Eats Alone Day. No One Eats Alone is a prevention program that was created by nonprofit Beyond Differences to tackle the growing problem of social isolations in schools. The program, which was launched in 2012 in a handful of schools in Northern California, addresses an issue that affects students all over the country in urban, suburban, rural, public, and private schools. No One Eats Alone encourages students to not only sit with classmates they don't know and get to know them, but also to spot others who may feel left out and include them. In 2018, more than 1 million students in over 2,300 schools in all 50 states participated in No One Eats Alone Day. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high of 69 today, while Dallas, Texas will see a high of 36, and Puerto Portugal a high of 59. It's Friday, so tune in to thefull100radio.com from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bermuda time for the office workout with Juggle and Jason. That's your Daily Hour news break.
All righty, we'll be right back with Sloane Johnson. Stick with us.
Good day, Medical House Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
I found myself being a caregiver. Even though I was a nurse, I still needed help on, what was available in hospital beds and all that kind of equipment, and I knew where to go. I went to Medical House.
Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
I was very pleased with Medical House. and the help they gave me when I most needed it.
Your experience with Medical House is about getting your needs met, but we also try to provide knowledge to help you through whatever you're experiencing.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there is private parking right outside the door.
I would recommend them to anybody.
Call or visit Medical House today.
This month, we're featuring a range of infant and baby care products from Hello Bello, a company started up by a husband and wife team who were inspired to meet the challenges arising from the often surprising, not to mention messy experiences that came with the territory known as parenting. The couple behind Hello Bello know that being a parent is uniquely demanding, and their mission is to bring you premium products at gentle prices. Try Hello Bello Alpha diapers in a range of sizes, Alpha Blossom baby lotion, baby powder, and much more. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. Carl Azul, Jackie Lambert, myself, Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over there at Channel 82, where you can watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. Without further ado, just had my juice during the break, right? And it's like some stuck in my mouth. Without further ado, let's bring in Sloane Johnson from the Digital Leadership Conference. Sloane, welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So how's everybody doing?
Well, we're good. I mean, I think I might have killed the mood a bit, but
That's okay.
I'm known for doing that. But look, let's get to it. We are a bit late. Where did the idea? Obviously, you're behind the Digital Leadership Conference. We've had some phenomenal guests this week. Ulrich, with all of his energy yesterday, Kenton Trott, Emma Edwards, Katie Greer, RJ Pete, and then last week, David Pride, as well as Dina Puccio. I think I pronounced her name right. But these have been some amazing speakers, and obviously there will be more speakers. We have Bella Richards and myself as well. But speak to us about where the idea for the Digital Leadership Conference came from.
So the Cyber Tips program has been around for quite a while, and we go into schools and we visit churches and singers groups, and we talk with parents about digital citizenship in general. The idea for the conference came because in Bermuda and probably other parts of the world as well, your mama could tell you to do something 100 times. But as soon as you hear it from somebody else, it seems like the message sticks a little bit more. So I figured that all of our young people were tired of hearing from me, and maybe they needed to hear the message from somebody else. The Digital Leadership Conference, is planned by students. So it also gives them a voice and an opportunity to do something for themselves. There's no one better to tell our young people what they need than other young people themselves. So that's kind of where the idea for the conference came from.
Indeed.
So Jamal helped me out by listing all the names of the presenters. So thankfully, I don't have to forget anybody's name. Thanks, Jamal. How did you choose the presenters then? Like, there's so many people out there, so much information. How did you choose these presenters?
So there's a student committee that gets together, and we talk about what the conference topic or theme is going to be for that year. And then we just go out and we search the internet, we watch YouTube videos, there's an organization called Top Youth Speakers that we've worked with in the past. So it's literally just doing a whole bunch of research, depending on what the theme for the conference is for that year.
Okay. What is something or some things that you've learned as the organizers, or you guys have learned as a collective as the organizers while putting on something like this? So that's so informative.
The biggest lesson I've learned is that we take our young people for granted. They are exceptionally intelligent, talented, organized, and everything else that we think they are not. A lot of people think that, it's just me in the background running this show, but it really is the young people. And last year, when we had our last in-person conference, they were the people, boots on the ground, walkie-talkies attached to their hips, running around to make sure that everything ran smoothly. So the biggest lesson I've taken from this is that our young people are a tool that we should use to drive Bermuda forward. We should put a little bit more faith in our young people.
Now, talking about young people, which in this context, Jamal is an old timer. He's one of the presenters. So I have a question for you because first of all, we had to find out on the Daily Hour he was actually a presenter because he never told us. Still a bit bitter about that. But Jamal, what do you plan to present? I know you gave a little insight, but how do you plan to engage with the young people on a relatable level?
Honestly, having been a coach and mentor, I just want to really meet them where they are. What are young people looking for? Well, I'm really trying to go in there and stick with the theme of the show, which I'm saying the show of the conference, which is show young people that there are a lot of positive things you can do with social media. Number one thing is quality content, and show them how to create quality content. The theme of my presentation is actually how to use social media, like utilizing social media to improve our community, which I think we're doing a great job of with the Daily Hour per se and other things that we have going on. So my hope is to connect with them, like finding out, let's say, what do they like to do? I don't know how many people I may have in my presentation, but find out what they like to do and then using that as a platform to build on something positive via social media.
Now, we all know Daily Hour came out of the pandemic, was one of the many great things that came out of the pandemic. What do you say to a young person, Jamal, who may have a dream, but they think that it's not possible because the situation isn't right, but they have the talent to be global with the help of social media?
Well, it's interesting you say that because it's all about pivoting. I know people are tired of hearing that word, right? But when we originally thought about doing a morning show, it was not going to be visual. It was going to be audio. So we had to respond quickly. And I think that's, thanks for that question, Carla, because that's something that I'm going to explain. Like, how do you change course right in the middle of planning to do something? And we had to respond to the environment that we were in. So when you're doing stuff like this, you have to respond to the environment and you have to respond to the audience, and just getting them to understand that, I say this all the time. If you start going live with something, right, you may just have one viewer. Just keep going. Don't worry about that one viewer, because if they enjoy your content so much, they may speak to someone else about it and someone else may jump on it. And then before you know it, you have an audience. So just keep building, just keep getting better, and focus on, what your end goal is.
Now, Sloane, there's going to be a parent workshop. What can parents expect from it?
So I think earlier this week, you guys met Katie Greer. Katie is actually the host for the parent workshop. And she's just talking about, social media and technology in general for parents. And the title of her presentation is What's New, what's now, what's new, what's next. And I think that's really an important conversation, because parents don't keep up with our children on social media. There's a whole bunch of parents that I could call out right now on the show that have no idea what apps their children have on their phones. They don't even have the passwords to their children's phones. So it's helping the parents to understand that this is where our children are, this is what's coming, and this is how we can be involved in the process to make sure that our kids are using the technology in a safe way.
Are parents able to attend the other workshops or only the parent workshop?
So only the parent workshop. The other workshops are geared specifically towards the students, and they are during the school day. So it's a full day for the students. They start at 8:30 in the morning and they finish at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Was it difficult to get schools on board? Or I know that this isn't the first year you're having the conference. So have schools kind of pre-scheduled it, like it's now become a part of their school day during this time each year? And how do you feel that schools were so willing to give 2 days of education for this?
Well, all throughout the year, CyberTips gets called in because the schools have to deal with issues stemming specifically from social media. So they definitely view it as important. Digital citizenship is important, not just for the students, but for the teachers and administration as well, because things happen within the school on social media at all levels. Bermudians are, very last minute. So most of the time, a lot of schools don't register until the last possible second. And it drives me crazy every year. It happens every year. The big difference from previous years is that obviously because of COVID-19, we've had to pivot, Jamal's favorite word, and have the conference virtually this year. So we're actually able to accommodate more students than we ever have before. Last year, we had just over 800 kids over 2 days. And that, I think each school was allowed to send between 50 and 80 students, depending on the size of the school. And this year, you can register the entire school. Every year, I get anxiety leading up to the conference because I don't think anybody's going to register. I'm calling the schools. I feel like I'm stalking people. But this year was the same. And I think I had a little more anxiety because the conference is virtual. We want it to be perfect. And having a virtual experience isn't as tangible. I can't just run and fix something. So I was stressed out. And then I got a call from the vice principal at Whitney. And she said, okay, we have 5 teachers. We're sitting here and we're registering the entire school. And at that moment, I was like, everything's going to be okay.
Awesome. Why is this conference so important for young people? I mean, we've heard all the different aspects, or a few of the different aspects throughout the last week. But for a parent that's just tuning in and they haven't heard any of the others, why is this conference a place for young people to be?
Technology is the hub of everything that we do nowadays. So we learn through technology, we go to work using technology, we communicate using technology. Businesses are being born through technology. There's no way of escaping technology. But, like some of the speakers said earlier this week, social media and other, forms of tech were not created to be negative spaces. It's how people choose to use it, and understanding what actual online etiquette is and what it means for us in our future. Once you put something on the internet, it's there forever. So it's helping our young people to understand the technology isn't going anywhere. And most likely they are going to be the ones to advance the technology going forward. But how do we do that in a safe, secure, and effective manner that not only benefits them, but benefits the community at large?
We always say that, right? It's no one can ever say that. It's never been said 1,000 times. Like, what you put on the internet remains forever. But yet we'll see fight videos, videos with heavy sexual content, and everything in between. When do you think people will really believe that that is a detriment to their future before it's too late?
To be honest, it's always been something happens to somebody that we know personally. So I think a big part of it is the education, and Officer Kenton Trott and the Department of Public Prosecutions, their workshop actually focuses on helping young people to understand what is an actual offense. A lot of times we commit offenses on a day-to-day basis and we don't even realize that what we're doing is actually an offense. So understanding that there is legislation that covers cybercrime in Bermuda, understanding that, these crimes are punishable in a court of law from a very young age, and that as parents, we are legally responsible for our children's actions. A lot of parents hand our child a cell phone or an iPad or a laptop and walk away, not realizing that, until that child becomes an adult, you're legally responsible for that child and everything that they do with the device that is registered to your name. So it's all an education process.
Interesting. Natika Trott asks, does Sloane's department assist schools and other youth organizations develop social media policies?
Yes, we do. We've helped quite a few schools. We most recently, Sand Secondary Middle School, we're helping them to develop a bring your own device policy, because a lot of students are using their iPads and cell phones to assist them with classes, especially now that we're going back and forth between virtual school and in-person school. So a part of that bring your own device policy is a social media policy. We put out a ton of guidance. We have a framework that we can provide schools with to assist them with putting together a social media policy, just to make sure that it hits all the points. And if necessary, we do assist them with drafting it as well.
Indeed. Erna Enos says it will never be safe. It is shown to be controlled and biased. And I think I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Enos. But recently in the United States, we've had various, the former president, Donald Trump, banned from Twitter. We've had, not just Twitter, about 10, 11, 12, however many social mediums there are. But you've had a lot of his followers as well. What do you say to people about those kind of things? Because when you look at the position of president, it was always looked at as, well, you want to do right because this person's in this position, and those are people that you look up to. They do no wrong almost. Obviously, the world's changed. It's a different place. But how do you speak to young people about stuff like that without sharing your political positions, but speaking about stuff like you can't just say this because your favorite politician or favorite footballer said it. And I want to touch on ask one more question based on what Carla said this morning. In England right now, as it relates to football, a lot of players over the last, a referee recently, coaches have taken a lot of flack due to racism lately over in the UK, and it's become this big thing. But how are we gonna get children to understand that, because I want to say in the summer during the pandemic football season, which they were calling it, I think a 12-year-old was arrested for making racist remarks online, and maybe he just didn't understand the consequences.
In response to the comment that it would never be safe because it's biased, users make it biased. So social media itself, like the actual platform, is not designed to be biased. It's what we choose to post and the comments that we make that make it biased. So if we change our behaviors, then we can potentially change the bias or the way social media is perceived. A lot of it, and I know that a couple of the other speakers touched on it earlier, when it comes to our young people, we as adults have to lead by example. I cannot stress enough that a child is going to do whatever they think their parents will allow or whatever they see their parents doing. So we see a lot of, during the summertime in Bermuda, everybody's at the beach, you're having a good time and you're posting pictures of yourself in your bathing suit or holding a drink or, doing other things that would not be acceptable for a child to do, but because your child sees you doing it, here they are posing with, the bikini or a red solo cup because they think it looks cool. So it's all about teaching them to follow the example that we give, but we as adults have to be given a good example.
That seems like a consensus this week. The Chica Trot says, how can one get in contact with Mrs. Wilson?
She means Miss Johnson.
It's okay. I will always be a Wilson. I was born a Wilson.
I was confused just now, but go ahead.
She can contact us at the Economic Development Department. I will drop the number in the chat and my email address as well.
I have another question for you, Sloane. Do you think that social media will ever go away? Because even like yesterday, how we had the giggle with Arik and he was talking about the evolution of music, right? So 8 tracks no longer exist. Do you think that social media will ever go away or
Absolutely
become
not.
non-popular?
Absolutely not. It will never go away, but it will continue to evolve.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
So think about, we had what? MySpace, Hi-Fi.
Black Planet. You're on silent, Sloane. We can't hear you something. Go now?
You're back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know what happened with the camera. Hey, there we go. Jamal insisted that I use my phone because the sound was louder. I just want to let everybody know. Cole just came in, so I'm sorry. Apparently my laptop is trash, but
blame the technology.
Yep.
Social media is going to continue to evolve. So all the things that we're doing now, like video chatting each other, live streaming on a daily hour, just think of where that could possibly go in the future and how much advanced it could be. It might be holographic communications next or whatever, but it's definitely not going anywhere.
I hope it doesn't go to holograms because that means I have to be fully dressed.
I'm just saying, but the evolution of it.
Are you not wearing pants, Carla?
You would never know unless I'm a hologram.
Sloane, this is one of those times where I have to remind us it's a PG show, live.
That's fine.
Social media. But no, to that question, that's a great question, Carla, because I think with Arik, it was like, well, music hasn't changed, right? Like music, just the way it's delivered. So I think I agree 1,000% with Sloane in terms of, I think social media is here to stay. It's just how does it evolve? Because you had, like she said, the first one I remember was Black Planet, right? And then obviously I'm not as old as Carla, folks. No,
I never did MySpace though, to be honest. I was a high five girl. I never did MySpace. I found nothing appealing about it.
MySpace was probably the first place. Like I remember a guy, you guys probably heard his song. He went to college with me at New England Institute of Technology. He actually landed a record deal off of MySpace. MySpace was very helpful back then. The guy Ayaz is from down the Virgin Islands. Replay is the song. Just look up Ayaz, IYAZ. It was like the most popular song one summer in the mid to late 2000s. But that's what I looked at MySpace as. It was one of those things. And so as you look at how social media has evolved from then, like to Facebook, I remember when Facebook was only for college students, right? And now it's only for our
old people.
No, I'm not saying that. See, I ain't saying that.
The kids tell me that Facebook is for ill people. And every time I meet with a group of kids, we do like a little icebreaker. And sometimes I do that little game, 2 truths and a lie. And I always lie about my age. And everybody's like, oh, I think the truth is that you're this old. And I'm like, do I look like I'm in my 40s to you people?
Oh.
They think that I'm ill because I have Facebook.
Sloane, it's so funny because my daughter, she just turned 20, right? And I had Twitter for years and never used it. So for 8 years, it was probably dormant. I just secured the handle. And I've been a lot on Twitter and she has me blocked, right? And I'm like, come on, unblock me. She goes, Twitter is the only place that I can be me. And I'm not saying I'm doing anything wrong. She was like, but you need to take your ill bleep back over to Facebook with the rest of the ill people. Twitter is not for ill people. So it's an ongoing joke, but she just wanted her space to be herself without her mama, looking over her shoulder. So it's such a joke in our house.
Yeah, no. Y'all a little spy. That's what you are, and everybody knows it. That's why your daughter banned you. Look, Jackie gets banned by Twitter. Carla gets banned by her daughter. That's the way it goes over there on Twitter, folks. But no, definitely, you see how social media has evolved and different things like TikTok and Snapchat, and it'll be something new next year. But I think overall, this conference, I think people should be very grateful to you and your team for putting it on. I'm excited to be a part of it. Just real quickly before we let Sloane go on, Sloane actually assisted me with how we're going to deliver. So hopefully you all join the track that I'm in, because I really hope, I don't want to just talk to people. I want to engage with them. I want a lot of interaction, but also I want people to be able to go out and say, you know what? I'd like to run. I'm going to start a live program, talk about running or something like that. So the concept we're going to go over as we focus on utilizing social media to improve our community is come up with the idea. Then we're going to talk about the strategy. Then we're going to create content. And then we're going to say, what is the end goal? And so I'm grateful to you, Sloane. I'm grateful to the people who
checking to make sure I tell everybody which track you're in. Jamal is in track B.
Track B.
Anyone who is interested in participating in Jamal's workshop, utilizing social media to improve our community, he is in track B.
So real quick about tracks. So if you're on track A, you can only be an A?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was never an A student, so B fits me perfectly.
Is it an F track?
No.
No, because of his GPA at Bermuda College. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it was 0.0, but whatever. This ain't about me. This is about the students.
No. Did you even go?
I mean, I got classes. Excuse me. Bermuda College was very instrumental in me getting my master's, but we are out of time. Sloane, is there anything else you can leave them with? The website, sign up information?
So the website is bermudasdigitalleaders.com. All of the information that you need to register for the conferences there. We definitely encourage the parents to participate. We struggle with parent participation from year to year, but it's such an important topic. And it's free, right? Encourage your child's school to register if they have not registered your child already. As I stated earlier, because it's virtual, we have the ability to register every single middle and high school student in Bermuda, including homeschooled kids, the little small private schools, and anybody who's in middle or high school can participate.
All right, Sloane Johnson, thanks again. And we will be in touch. I'm looking forward to it. And I'll be contacting you after this show.
No problem. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
You too.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with The Feud. And Jackie and Carla, just one more time. It's a PG show, my sisters.
Bermuda, do you know the difference between internet and Wi-Fi? Don't worry, neither did I. Let me break it down to you. Internet is delivered to your modem, which then has to push the Wi-Fi signal into the rest of your home. Do you find that the further you're away from your modem, the weaker your Wi-Fi signal gets? That's because Bermuda's homes are built hurricane tough. It's really difficult for that Wi-Fi signal to reach every room. But you're in luck. Our One Home Wi-Fi solution guarantees Wi-Fi coverage in and around your home with the help of our Eero devices. Plug in the Eero around your home and it will create a mesh Wi-Fi network in every room. Check us out at One today to sign up and make sure you can stream, work, and play from every corner of your home.
All right, welcome back to the Big Show. It's the Daily Hour. She's Carla Zul. She's Jackie. I'm Jamel Hartman. And hey, look, thanks again to Medical House Lenders and One Communications, everyone who continues to support this show. We have the feud. Number one answers only. First, Carla, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Jackie, you ready?
Sure am.
All right, here's the first question. Folks, they need your help. You know how this goes. Help my sisters up. They need your help. All right, here we go. First one. Name something you eat that comes on a stick.
Popsicle.
Lollipop.
Corn dog. That's gross, but
yes, she got it, folks.
I was gonna say corn dog, but I
Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Yes, you got it. So number one
was like, did she?
That was me. Number one was hot dog, corn dog. Number two was popsicle ice cream. 3 was kebab. 4 was cotton candy, and 5 was candy apple. So you got
so lollipop didn't even make it. My turn.
Lollipop weren't there. That I mean,
they need to watch more ludicrous music videos. I promise you.
All right, second one for the day. Help them out, folks. If you could miraculously become the boss at work, what's the first thing you'd do?
Give everybody a vacation.
And a raise.
Jackie got it. All right. So give raises was number 1. Fire people was number 2. Vacation was number 3. Give days off number 4. And change always.
You get fired. You get fired. You get fired.
That's what was that show called? That's some Apprentice stuff, ain't it? All right. Final one, guys. Final one. Here we go. Name something people do and think to themselves, I wish I had done this years ago.
Get a divorce.
That's number 4.
Go back to school.
She on fire. She got it, folks. She got it.
Back to school?
Yes. More education. Go back to school was number 1. Bought a home was number 2. Save money, I think Jackie said, was number 3. Got divorced was number 4. 5 was take vacation. 6 was have children. And 7 is quit job, retired. So you all on fire today. Look, and you know what impressed me most, honestly, folks? They kept it PG today. I swear.
Because it's not us. It's you.
No, I just asked the question, and I thought you all were going to take that stick question way left, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud. Honestly, I'm proud of you.
I'm not even going to say nothing because I was going way left that way.
Wow. Now see how mine's so good.
I still don't understand how Lollipop isn't it. Like 50 Cent has a whole song. I'll take you to the candy shop.
Oh my.
I let you lick the lolly.
Well, you got to think about where the questions are based. So I was thinking all those people, fairs, carnivals.
Right. Yeah.
Hot dogs. What they call corn dogs. They always smell nice, but I've never eaten one. They thought of hot dog and cornbread. I like cornbread with raisins.
Separately. I'm sorry?
I prefer cornbread with raisins, as we all know. That people say, ew. But my granny used to make it that way. So corn dog and hot dog? No. Corn dog and raisins? I mean, cornbread and raisins?
I'm so confused right now, Jackie.
Wait, candy's not food? Lollipop's not a food?
Yeah.
I saw a comment.
Look, let's just do a quick roll call while Carla gets ready to give us the inspiration. Let us know where you're tuned in from. If you like today's episode, make sure you give us a thumbs up, like it, love us, and let us know where you're tuned in from. Not as necessarily what social media platform, but let us know what location you are. Carla, let's get some inspiration.
The best way to guarantee a loss is to quit. Morgan Freeman.
Dang, I like that one. Morgan Freeman, the man that's been 80 years old since I was born. Any final words on today's episode, Jackson?
Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I'm super excited for you. I'm gonna tune in. I really like because you have so much information. Like
you can't go to his, Jackie. You're not a student.
Yes, I can. I'm gonna use my niece's.
All it's just making you give up all your secrets, huh?
Sheesh, man. I'm gonna go try and sneak in and pretend to be a teacher at Work Academy.
Carla, any
No, children are lucky. They're blessed. We didn't have this when we were growing up. So I hope that, as many schools take advantage and get their kids enrolled. And Jamal, to be we can't see it, maybe you'll record it, hint, hint, so we can see your presentation.
Can you go live and live?
I'm sure it'll be recorded. I believe Sloane said it would be recorded. So I'm sure that you'll be able to see it afterwards. But we are out of time, folks. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Linders, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you download the Full 100 Radio app so you can get in the groove with Juggling Jason today at 10 a.m. in Bermuda. What time's 10 a.m. in the UK, Carla? Like 2
p.m.
2 p.m. Look, I'm getting good at this, right?
You are quick mouth.
As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again next week. Carla Zool, Jackie Lambert, I'm Jamal Hartman. Have a better weekend than we're going to have. We'll probably be working. Peace.